I'm happy to have you here, Pierre. I'm looking forward to this short chat. But first, I would like to give you the opportunity to maybe introduce you shortly, and then I have a few questions prepared.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. I'm Pierre from Heex Technologies. We are a French startup providing software services for any AI robotics company dealing with a massive amount of data. So we developed a smart data platform helping them both during the development phase as well as scaling their operation.
Developing and scaling, nice.
Absolutely.
Let's come to the first question. So how does smart data help solving data issues for humanoid robots, for example?
Yeah, so that's really the core value proposal of what we are offering. Robotics company, specifically humanoids, because they also have to interact with people and so on, so they have even more events, scenarios to deal with. They are collecting and dealing with a massive amount of data coming from camera, from LiDAR, from the system. This data can be really overwhelming, especially when you are training these robots in different conditions, different situations. And the massive data set that these systems are generating are creating bottlenecks in the engineering development process, and also new challenges when it comes to customer support, diagnostic, and so on. I'll give you an example. A robotic system could generate up to terabytes per hour, and when you record everything and upload everything on a cloud, then you take a lot of time in processing that data, reviewing it, filtering it, extracting the valuable events, scenarios that are useful either to debug your system in R&D, validate a new sensor performance, review the computer vision software version. And if you don't have a way to process that data more intelligently, focusing at really the most relevant event to capture, then you could waste a lot of time and resources in doing that. So we came up with the concept of smart data. It's not really in opposition to big data, but it's more as a way to overcome that big data and massive amount of data that you need with. Smart data, which is basically providing a way to efficiently identify real-world scenarios and capture only the data that you need. And doing that in a way that it's fully automated, so that at the end the engineer can just use our software to configure what we call triggering scenarios, decide what data they want to capture, and obtain those data sets on a centralized platform where they can analyze the data set, visualize it, and then provide this collaborative data set across the entire organization.
And not only across the entire organization, but across the entire workflow.
Exactly, absolutely. It can be used both for creating more high-quality data set for AI training, right? So that would be one typical workflow, but it could also to retrieve incident issues during the R&D phase in order to quickly identify, pinpoint the issue for a faster debugging. It could be during the customer service. Once you start to deploy a few robots in operation at your customer location, you don't want to be the one sending people there. Every time the customer is calling you, well, the robot is not working and I don't know what's happening, and then you have to send someone. You want to have a way with our software to intelligently monitor and capture that incident, pre-qualify it with the triggering scenarios, and get you the data that you need to quickly identify what could be the cause, how to solve it, so that when the customer is calling you, you already are more or less informed about what's going on and how to solve it. So it's really a software tool that helps all these different engineering teams at different stage of their journey.
There's always a theoretically part and then the real world part, right? My second question comes towards that part. So what impact does smart data have in speed, reliability, and trust when it comes from scaling from lab to reality, to real world scenarios, deployment?
So we have several customers in different vertical industries. We work with big car makers in the autonomous driving industry. We work with robotic companies that are providing like autonomous mobile robots and humanoids robots. Very often we start with companies that are developing the system in the R&D phase, and that smart data approach creates an iterative smart data loop in a way that once you start to use our platform as a framework to capture the events that are meaningful, then you can refine from that centralized platform the triggering scenarios and redeploy the new condition over the air. So you iterate very quickly on your development and you reduce the development cycle so that the time that you spend in developing your system and then go to market and deploy is reduced, because then you don't have to waste so much time in like dealing with all the data. Then once you deploy that in operation, the same exact tool can be used by monitoring all your system in actions from that centralized platform with our over-the-air capability and the possibility to reconfigure trigger and get the data that you need. So I give you an example. Let's say you have like a fleet of robots that you have deployed across Europe, US, and so on. With the trigger that you had defined, you identify there was an incident, a new incident that you didn't know. With the data that we will have recorded, you are going to be able to quickly diagnose and identify what could be the root cause. And that root cause could then be translated into a new trigger configuration that you will change because you know the root cause is coming from a specific system issues, navigation that is lost, and so on. And you're going to be redeploying that root cause scenario into your entire fleet. So then when that happens again in another location, you're already on top of what's going on.
But just for my understanding, the majority of customers, let's say automotive, they don't want to be too much part of the product development phase. There's POCs and pilot projects, but so when we're talking software and end users, that might be different, this loop of iteration. But when it comes to hardware and physical setups, manufacturing, these, at least from my experience, the automotive, for example, they would like to be after that phase. So they would like to have deployments with working products that don't need too many of these loops, because every single loop means downtime, right? So how is that for you?
So in the same way that our system will work on a more like a prototype product, it can be deployed into a, let's say, a in-series product that is already like stabilized. But even if your system is stabilized, it will always encounter new issues, new scenarios, right? I mean, like if you talk about automotive, sometimes you have a car, I don't know which car you're driving, you will have like a phantom brake or like a weird lane change. As the end user, you feel there is something happening, but then, well, you're going to still like continue with your life. That event could be silently captured, and we will talk about like shadow mode, and provided to your system. Because now, same as for cars, for robotics, these are computers on wheels, computers that are evolving, right? So the car or the robot that you are buying today is going to evolve with software updates, and it's going to not be the same in like 1-2 years. But for that software to evolve, well, you need to have also an intelligent data capture system that's going to be taking the incidents and the system performance at the very granular level, and this is what our platform can offer. A silent way of logging data of interest for the evolution of your system, even after it has been deployed in series.
Talking about deployment, so I was looking up front, what kind of partnerships do you have? So what kind of deployment? So when we're looking at the partnership with Robotic Crew, what does that mean for support and managing robot fleets, right? You were talking about fleets before that. Tell me about that.
So the partnership with Robotic Crew is kind of like a natural fit for any company that wants to really scale their operation massively, right? If you are a robotic company and you provide a few robots every now and there, you can deal that in-house. Hopefully our platform can already help. But then once you scale that massively, then you don't aim to become a staffing service, you know, with all the customer support that you will require, right? Our platform comes as a real tool to accelerate all the diagnosis, customer service, customer support. We just talked about that. What Robotic Crew is offering is staffing. Very high skilled trained robotics engineer that are most of them located in Latin America, knows all the systems, are agnostic in terms of hardware, systems and platform, but they know obviously how to use our software platform, and they can provide to this robotics company outsource services for development, for customer support, for diagnostics, so that they can scale their operation much more rapidly.
I asked my last guest before this as well. So when you're looking at, we have now halftime for 2025.
Yeah.
So what's happening for you guys? Any big announcement? Anything I can looking forward to?
Yeah. So one of the, let's say, we have really developed our product to be as easy and seamless to use as possible. But since we are talking about data, and you were talking about data trust and so on, we want to make sure that our customers are, satisfied with the way they use our product and with the way they integrate the platform into their system. The data stay within the customer realm. We don't touch with it and so on, but we still need to connect our software, our agent, with the system in order to monitor all these data signals. A lot of our customers are using ROS. We will talk about like ROS topic, ROS signals. You need to integrate with that so that you can play around with all the trigger and the dashboard. A lot of the work that has been done over the last months was to make sure that now if a customer wants to use a platform, there is no integration effort or implementation effort or resources to be spent into integrating the platform.
So and reducing the effort and the pain.
Exactly. And now we are about to launch. We have launched, but we will communicate about it. So I'm happy that we can do it today. A self-serve version of our platform. So any robotics engineer, any companies, any organization that sounds that this is the kind of issue that they have, they can go on our website, log into our platform, upload a data set, and immediately start using the platform without having to call us or do any implementation or coding or scripting. Because what we want is people to use the platform as a codeless solution to monitor all the type of signal that they want and get the benefit of the tool. So that's a massive effort that the product team has been doing in order to allow for that platform to be seamless in terms of integration and much faster to use.
I had the talk earlier today when it comes to this kind of situations that this is one of the advantages of a startup. They don't need to carry all the weight and all the other stuff, the antique stuff from, let's say, more traditional robotic companies. So, and as we are now with mobile phones are very used to seamless UI UX, I think this is actually the democratization, these kind of steps or these kind of efforts, democratizing and not needing someone who is specialized and trained for just one single software, just one single platform. So nice to see that this kind of adoption is happening.
I mean, you are raising a very, very valid point, because we didn't talk too much about it until now, but I've been like focusing the value that we offer for robotics engineer, people developing those robots and so on. But at the end of the day, they are selling their robots to organization and to a warehouse that wants to automate the logistics, to a hospital that wants to have acute robots to take care of children and so on. And these organizations do not know too much about robotics. They know that they want to automate their operation. It's going to be creating, ideally, a return on investment. They need also a tool that is democratizing access to data, right? And the data that they want to see is not whether the system failure comes from a computer vision issue because they lost the navigation. They just want to know, is it efficient? Is the utilization rate of my robot good enough that I can justify paying for it rather than having someone doing it? And that's what our platform can provide too. It's targeting both robotics engineers that are developing the solution as well as end users that wants to have like very high level overview with data analytics, dashboard, KPIs about the efficiency of their operation in place.
Yeah, I hope this is some product developer out there, some founders really understanding this very important part, because disruption comes from adoption, and if there's no adoption happening, then there's no way for you, right? I'm very thankful that you took some time and gave us some insights on what you guys are doing, and looking forward to see what kind of things you're announcing very soon.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I think we have a great product, but I think as a small company, sometimes evangelizing it, hearing about the product is the most challenging part. So having that platform to talk about it is a great opportunity for us. So thank you for having me again.
Thanks, and see you later on the announcement.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.